This video is going to be a second film study look at DJ Reed, the Detroit Lions' new starting outside corner, along with Terriana Arnold on the other side. Fielded some questions, good questions, comments in the initial film study video that I put out a couple of nights ago on, is he better than CD3? Who do you prefer? I mean, personally, I'm a huge fan of Carlton Davis III, so I get that out of the way. But having said that, he's moved on to the New England Patriots, and Brad Holmes and those guys had this guy in their sights. They were able to secure him. I have a little bit more in-depth film study here, or I guess what I should say is one that presents some bad plays, and it did get called for 11 penalties in 2024. I think 4 penalties, 2 and 2 in the previous 3 seasons. That would be 2021 to 2023. Last year, a huge uptick in penalties. So, of course, Lions fans should have some concerns when Terrion Arnold on one side had 11 penalties, and then DJ Reed on the other side had the same exact number of penalties. I do think he's very smooth in coverage, athletic, very versatile, competes for every inch on the field. Went over that in the initial film study video. Let's get the film started. This will be a little bit quicker, trying to get this produced before I have other things to get handled this afternoon. Very classy, more balanced corner than I think is has been presented. Now, this is a 3rd and 20 in week 4. He's going to be a tackle for loss. He's got great reactions, great bursts, whether it's downhill trigger now to go make the tackle on this little screen, or whether it's turning, opening his hips and getting down the field to get depth and deal with a vertical route. I think he's really good at those as well. This is a guy, 4.51 speed apparently when he came out for the NFL Combine. That kind of surprises me a little bit. I'll be honest with you, the play speed looks better than that. So I'm interested in deeper route concepts, and I found a couple of those examples here from the same game against the Denver Broncos. There's the route combination. It's going to be against Franklin, who was a rookie last year. The vertical route is the orange one that he's covering because DJ Reed is here on the outside. I know at some point I'm going to slip up and call him DJ Reader, but normally is able to keep up with receivers better than this. This is one of the few times where I've seen him turn and have to gain ground on the throw. Of course, the ball could have been, thrown further out there in front of the receiver if it weren't for, you guessed it, Will McDonald getting in Bo Nix's face, affecting his ability to step into the throw. And by the time there is some separation, DJ Reed is able to recover, get involved. He's willing to make contact with receivers, sometimes slightly early, and hence the reason for so many of the penalties to be called. I think he matches up good with smaller, quicker guys, and I think he matches up well with the 6'3", 6'4" receivers as well. The types of the frames or body styles that have given him trouble has been, bigger tight ends who can kind of wall him off. This is against Josh Reynolds, 3rd and 4 from the same game against the Broncos, and he'll fall down in coverage here on this little shake in cut. Like I said, it's a 3rd and 4. He'll fall down and then try to recover, regain his balance to get there and still challenge the play. I am interested in the fact that Aaron Glenn, a man cover guy, they went out and paid a lot of money to Brandon Stevens, but I think a little bit less money per year than the Lions ended up paying to DJ Reed, and for my money, just maybe this is a familiarity issue. I think DJ Reed is the more talented guy. Now, Brandon Stevens is known for sticky coverage, and he played a lot of man in Baltimore. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how that works out, because he is a high target guy, meaning Brandon Stevens is a high target guy. You can go after him, and he's just not going to make plays on the ball. At least he hasn't done so thus far in his career. Maybe that'll change in 2025. Hopefully, for his sake, it does. But DJ Reed's a guy who has more plays on the ball, around 10 passes defensed each year. 6 career interceptions to his ledger, only 1 last year in 2020. Another slant in cut. This is against DK Metcalf, and there's the targeted route in orange. I'll try to keep that consistent. And he closes down on this. He's got great instincts, if you ask me, for when the ball is thrown and how to get in there and time up his challenge, try to either dig the ball out or slap it away right before the receiver can attempt to make a catch. I think he might be better in off coverage. And I think the same thing applies to Terrion Arnold. I'm not saying that they can't play press coverage at all, but it was a theory that I had last year. In my mind, I think it was proven true for Terrion Arnold. I recognize that others have a different opinion. So, if you hold a different opinion, feel free to let me know in the comment section. I thought Terrion Arnold was better in that off position, kind of like we just showed with DJ Reed. This is the same play, mind you, from the end zone angle. You kind of pick these guys up right in the corner late. The challenge, the ability to close down. I wonder if he's not a better cover guy. I wonder if let me rephrase that. I wonder if his relative strength isn't playing some version of off coverage, trying to obscure the coverage and not give the defense, give the offense, the quarterback and the receiver, an obvious tell about what the coverage is going to be. I recognize that I might be wrong there, and maybe the advanced metrics or whatever are better in, quote, press man. I think press man is very different now in this day and age than it was even 10 or 12 years ago. To me, DJ Reed looks like a guy who has great instincts, does a really fantastic job of keeping eyes on the quarterback, recognizing the route. And I wonder if he's going to play better in off coverage, which I hold the opinion that Terrion Arnold does too. What that means as far as the scheme for Shepard this year in 2025, too soon to tell for me, or at least my own limitations. I'm not able to describe that to you, but maybe you see more match coverages. Maybe you see more off coverage that is disguised a little bit longer. In essence, you're not showing them man and then playing them man post snap. So let's get into some of the penalties. This is going to be a DPI, a 3rd and 1 against Miami. And there's the grab. Okay, that's what's called. But there is a challenge that if you didn't see the grab, you'd be like, okay, well, where's the penalty here? And it's not the greatest view because, it's tucked up at the top side of your screen. So, my apologies for that. But you can see, there is a challenge that's all great here. Kind of missing it. My apologies. But there's a grab that I think is what the ref calls to give Miami a new set of downs. They would go on to score pretty much on the next play. I think 2 plays later, in fact. We'll give you the same play from the end zone angle just so you can check it out. And again, just like the DK Metcalf play, kind of comes into the screen late. So it looks like a good challenge from here. But you've got, 2 different refs throwing it. So even though, like live time, it didn't necessarily look like a penalty-worthy play to me the first time I saw it. When I watched it 2 or 3 times over, I noticed the grab there before the challenge, pretty much as the ball was getting ready to be released, that made it a quite obvious call against Tyreek Hill. Another PD in the same game, in fact, Week 14 against the Dolphins, going to be pass defense, I should say. Very similar to the DK route, if you ask me. Off coverage, breaking. Look at his eyes. Normally looking right into the quarterback. And then watch the head snap to the receiver. So he sees the quarterback looking over here, and now he's already on the receiver, meaning, let me read the route. Oh, I got an in cut, bang, I'm gone. Part of that is, you got safety help, whatever the half-field coverage call may be in certain coverages, but great timing. He's a professional level corner, if you ask me, who can compete against multiple body styles. You've seen him in the last 3 reps that I've shown you against DK Metcalf, Tyreek Hill, there Jalen Waddle. I think his super high awareness and recognition, bursts well to the football, to me fits better with off coverage, and good timing, especially on in-breaking routes like the one I showed you against DK and the one I'm showing you against Waddle on the previous iteration, and then right here. Again, he's into the screen late for you guys. You got a little bit of it, and I'm using a new player, so if it's not smooth on rewind and, fast forward or slow forward, I guess, feel free to let me know. But there you go. Really nice timing by DJ Reed. He's a competitor. I would liken him to Amik Robertson. I've done that in 2 videos already. To me, those guys fit right in together. I think it's a good group, very competitive group, all 3 of them. The 11 penalties last year should get everyone's attention. He will compete. He will collision. He will make contact. Previously was quite consistent as far as pass interference or penalties, I should say, with 2 or 4 in each year. In this case, we got 11 last year in 2024. I don't anticipate that number remaining just based on the film that I'm seeing. I think a couple of his penalties, like this one, are a little bit soft. This is against Malik Washington, the rookie. And I guess that's what's being called. Let me let it pause. You can see Tua is kind of throwing up. I guess that arm there is what's being called. So, we're a little zoomed out from the all-22 angle, so it may be a little bit misleading. I think I do give you the end zone view of this one, but they called it. Really does look like he's just competing and playing good defense to me, but I'm a semi-homer at this point. Some defensive pass interference calls are worse than others. I think that one isn't nearly as egregious as the Tyreek Hill one, obviously. He doesn't seem that handsy to me, so it's a little surprising that there's so many penalties. I would not say that the style of coverage he normally plays warrants that many penalties. Nonetheless, they were called. By the way, this is the same play from the end zone angle. That's him and Malik Washington, I think a rookie last year from Virginia. And I guess that's what's being called, is the arm right here grabbing him. The refs must have seen it and deemed it to be too much contact. Former Raven Chuck Clark getting a pass defense on the play, but all for naught because they called the DPI on him. I say it's easy to say this at this point in time. I see less contact for him than I did with CD3. Now, as I said earlier in the video, it doesn't mean that I prefer him to CD3 because if I just had to pick a player to be on my team, I like Carlton Davis III. I made that pretty obvious throughout the season, and then in some of my videos here recently during the free agency period. But this is what we've got, and I think he's a competitor. I think he'll fit in this environment. I do wonder sometimes about some of the stuff I've seen on defense with the Jets, and like I said, former Raven Chuck Clark played for the Jets, and he had an ACL injury 2 years ago. This is Chuck Clark right here. Really good football player. I've done multiple film study videos on him from years ago when he was with the Ravens. This is fourth quarter. It's a fourth down, and the Jets are leading 23-21. I just don't think you can allow Chuck Clark to be on Tyreek Hill like this. This is mismanagement, if you ask me, from a coverage standpoint in terms of what we're going to play. We can't allow Clark to be over here exposed when we've got a fantastic coverage guy like DJ Reed on one side, Ahmad Gardner, usually playing on the other. He doesn't happen to be on the field on this play. My point is some of the things I'm seeing out of the Jets defense, I think in 2024 they were less sound than the Lions were in terms of who they were comfortable covering guys in man. On second or third glance here, I still think Reed is a very good player, very smart and versatile. I like him a lot. I'm going to compare him to CD3. The film is somewhat similar, meaning the DJ Reed film from 2024 looks similar to me to the Carlton Davis III film from 2023. And so I'll kind of echo the same statements, but it won't be as definitive here. I think he looks like a really good football player. I would say that if I were to rank DJ Reed and Carlton Davis III, which I don't really get into ranking players, I'd have Reed ranked below CD3. He signed with the Patriots. There's really nothing that can be done about that. I would not suggest leaving him in cover 0 as often as Aaron Glenn did last year with the Lions corners. He's a more balanced corner with better reactions, in my opinion, from an off coverage alignment. There's times for press, and some of the reasons for playing press coverage are beyond my ability to explain in the context of this video. But I wanted to take another, perhaps more serious or in-depth look at DJ Reed and include some of the negative or poor plays that we saw that were there on film, and I tried to present a couple of them to you here. If you'd like, maybe this weekend, I do intend to do a mock draft with a whole bunch of people who are going to be involved in selecting for different teams. That's a huge project for me. something that's kind of weird or random, excuse me, for my channel. But if you'd like for this weekend, I can do a little bit more on DJ Reed. If you'd like another look at him, I recognize that that would be at that point in time the third or fourth piece of content that I've put out on him. But in any case, I wanted to give Lions as in-depth a look as possible as I'm capable of providing. If you enjoyed it, please let me know in the comment section. If you don't know, likes and comments drive the content to get pushed out to a larger audience. So if you'd like to see me rewarded for the work that I've put in here, please like the video, comment with anything that of your thoughts of DJ Reed's talent and play, my analysis of him. Additional to that, finally, if you think other Lions fans would enjoy this video and you'd like to see my content get pushed out to a larger audience, then please consider grabbing a link to this video so other Lions fans can appreciate and enjoy this as well.